From Minuka saying there's something which is going on here in West Africa, and people are not really paying attention to it, but then it's more like a revolution. It's for Kaya. Yeah, we've been giving you updates, back-to-back updates about what is really going on in Africa, especially when the coup d'etat string of coup d'etat starts in many West African countries. Now, these West African countries, we know, say, under the ECOWAS, that's the Economic Community of West African States, it housed many francophone countries and also many English-speaking countries like Ghana, Nigeria. Now, the francophone countries, last 2-3 years, they've had various successive coup d'etat. I'm talking about the Gabon, the Guineas, the Niger and Co. And these people, these countries, coup d'etat. ECOWAS under the law are now drafted these particular francophone countries. It stated that if a particular state does a coup d'etat, then it will be expelled from the ECOWAS with sanctions. And aside from that, too, one of the things they put in place was that they will force that particular military leader to return the country back to civilian rules, and they will even support efforts to return the country back from military rule and a coup d'etat to a civilian rule, which is basically a vote and as and conform vote normal select own leader. And that time in 70C, and during that phenomenon, ex-president Akufo-Addo was the ECOWAS chair, so he was there, and then he oversaw many of these coup d'etat happen. Now, Akufo-Addo can say he just wants to go by the playbook, and at a point in time, he even demanded, say, these particular past presidents are now leaders of these countries who have had coup d'etats. These leaders, they should give them, and as they should take their country back to civilian rule and hand over the country back to them. But then these leaders are now coup d'etat, and someone betu and air party say the people are more cool, they supported this coup d'etat, and that they are not going to return the country back to civilian rule, because those people in power, they were not doing anything. And we saw President Akufo-Addo, ex-President Akufo-Addo, going to France, enjoying at the big table, or joining the big table of US Secretary, any other amount will be brave at time, and they say Akufo-Addo a puppet of the West. Now, Mino can say there's a new fresh update. Abituja, West Africa bloc announces formal exit of 3 junta-led states. Now, this is coming from Reuters, okay, which is UK4 or more online news portal, any newspaper. Now, let's get inside now, because in some if you are echo baby, so I just want to take it from here, because these particular 3 countries, once they announce, send Rebecca Soma announces that they've left the ECOWAS soon, they are doing something. Said they are now about to do 2 things. The first one is their passport, and the second one is their own currency. It is something different. Amamenoka say Togo, Benin, they are begging, said they want to join. Now, you read here, also Lagos, January 29th, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, on Wednesday announced the formal exit of 3 junta-led states, or 3 junta-led Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger from the bloc following withdrawal last year. So now, ECOWAS confirms that these people, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they are no longer part of ECOWAS. It further goes on to say West Africa has been rocked by a spate of coups that has countries in a 15-member body under military rule in the past 5 years. The withdrawal of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali, and the Republic of Niger has become effective today, 29th January 2025. So now ECOWAS is saying, in some Koso last 3-4 years, could details many of these countries that could a military for her. Now these military leaders, so they failed to comply to return the country back to civilian rule. And at the point in time now, even when they promised, okay, they just wanted to be in power for maybe a year or 2 or some months and return the country back to civilian rule, and they are still there. So basically, they don't even qualify. But then even far from that, consideration na ECOWAS or consider these countries are part of ECOWAS na wo honankasan ye hu so mfa so ye set years so many years ago what is the importance of it? So they ankasa they submitted their letter to leave the state. Now this is just one part of it, and then that's sorry a quick update on this particular one. Patcher say if we enter screen also look at it very well. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger introduced common AES passports as for after ECOWAS edit. So after these particular countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, after they left ECOWAS, they are saying now they are going to do their own passport, because if ECOWAS which means the passport ECOWAS one obi the bam country mu enye valid. Most of them will be now the back Ghana and any West African country enye valid. And because of that, they are saying that they are going to do their own passports. And the Sahel states, they are going to do their own passport. These countries, they are being led by coup d'etat. Now let's read this. Or say, a bold new step in West African politics. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger unite under the Confederation of Sahel States to launch a share passport and redefine regional alliances. Now let's read go into the details of this and even what they are saying here. As you can see the three military leaders. On the far left, Ibrahim Traoré, and on the far right, another military leader, and middle one in Niger also. So these three leaders are back together on party say they are going to do their own currency and their own passport. But then we are learning that their own currency also follows. Let's read this. The military-led government of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger announced on Thursday that they will introduce a common passport for citizens from January 29th, marking the first anniversary of their withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States. So now they are saying, and that 29th, and number start a new passport. These three West African countries, now allied under the Confederation of Sahel States, broke away from the ECOWAS after accusing the regional bloc of kowtowing to former colonial power France and failing to support. So you see, ECOWAS patch say France colonial masters this particular French country and a French speaking country colonial master France patch say ECOWAS bibi kwaswa say France from their getting into people's business. They are introducing certain things policy no structure name buano. Anytime be a better report, ECOWAS is your mason. So the word they used here was the kowtowed. It's a good test. Instead of them to see, okay, a leader of a particular French-speaking country, the leader in Odisika, he stayed in power for almost many years. Yes, the people are suffering, and still, ECOWAS is sitting down saying, these particular members they recognize them because, legitimate president they are voting power. And then these are speaking countries, ECOWAS, their job was to stand for the people, not to stand for government heads and a president. And because of that, they are saying that they are kowtowing, so more bow down to colonial masters and colonial powers like France. That is why Akufo-Addo is being termed as what? The puppets of the West. AES President Assimi Goïta, who is also these three West African countries now allied under the Confederation of Sahel broke away from the ECOWAS after accusing the regional bloc of kowtowing to former colonial power France and failing to support their fight against jihadist violence effectively, although their exit was declared on January 28, 2024. By the rules of the ECOWAS, there's a 1 year notice period. Hence, the official exit date is on 29th January 2025. So they are saying that these particular people, they gave notice last year. So move ECOWAS name, but then ECOWAS you say you have to give a notice 1 year. Into 1 year, last year January 28, 2024, more notice. This year 29th, and that and a song year. So they have to allow them to go. Or see AES President Assimi Goïta, who is also the leader of the Malian junta, made the announcement in a statement broadcast on a state television saying the new AES passport will start circulating from the end of January, but the existing ECOWAS passports are still valid until they expire. So now they are saying some more and more ECOWAS passports, you can still use it, but then if it expires, you have to renew, to a year or more new passport the new AES passport. The AES Confederation has also announced it to start replacing passport for their citizens of the bloc currently with new AES passports. It is yet unclear if beyond the transition day, citizens of AES visiting any member ECOWAS will have visa requirements. So now they are saying, if that is really happening, and then other countries with the AES passport in the core ECOWAS country, you need a visa requirement. The three nations announced the formation of a joint military force of 5,000 soldiers earlier this week to confront jihadist violence that terrorized region for years. All three nations is junta-led government took over vacuums from 2020 to 2023 and have been cool toward France while forging ties in other spheres of influence, especially political and military cooperation with Russia, among others. The development is a significant realignment of regional alliances and policies in Sahel states, and one may wonder what the future relations between AES and ECOWAS will be. So now they are saying that they are not just going after, okay, since you pay your own currency, you pay your own passport. Now, what they will also be doing is say they are forging an alliance with Russia, because Russia is the brain and on support you in all of them. Remember, I said Russia wants to be a world superpower. So these Sahel states, Russia say, okay, if these Sahel states, they are forming now, then it means yes, you be your footprint in Africa. Remember, so Russia saw a footprint in the Middle East, Syria, and beyond. So Russia also is perhaps gradually building itself to take on the world superpower. I also want to say the former Soviet Union, they were the world superpower before US. That's after the World War II, US for gaining control. It's if for any dissemination, we are following this particular update. More updates as all of these various events unfold.